In Hollywood's golden years, fame seemed like a dream: lights, cameras, applause, but for some stars, that spotlight came at a price. One that, in some cases, cost them their very soul. Behind the scenes, whispers spoke of rituals, pacts, names murmured in the dark, actors and actresses who rose as if by magic, only to fall in tragic, bizarre, or mysterious ways. Was it talent, luck, or something more? Today on Sandalwood, we reveal 18 stories of stars who made a deal with unseen forces to fulfill their deepest desires and paid the ultimate price. Are you ready? Let's begin. Jane Mansfield wasn't just a sex symbol, she was a figure cloaked in shadows. Her relationship with Anton LaVey, founder of the Church of Satan, fueled rumors of an actual pact with dark forces. Photos, statements, and shared rituals sealed the scandal. Tragedy struck in 1967, when Mansfield died in a brutal accident many described as premonitory, whispers of curses, ignored warnings, and the idea that fame had finally claimed its blood price surrounded her death. Years later, LaVey still referred to her as the chosen one. James Dean's rise was so fast, it felt unnatural. From unknown actor to legend in mere months, his rebellion, his gaze, and his mystique turned him into an eternal icon. But behind that image was Little Bastard the car that became a symbol of a curse. The Porsche Dean died in caused other fatal accidents even after his death. Mechanics, collectors, and curious onlookers who came into contact with its parts met dark fates. Many believed Dean had struck a deal for eternal fame, and he got it, but at a price no one else was willing to pay. She was born Margarita Cancino, daughter of a flamenco dancer from Seville. But Hollywood wanted something more, so they transformed her into Rita Hayworth, the goddess of desire, erasing her roots, her identity, and her accent. But some say the transformation wasn't just cosmetic, it was a symbolic pact with the industry itself. To be accepted, she gave up everything. She lightened her skin, changed her hair, her surname, and her past. Her rise was meteoric, but her personal life became a storm of failed relationships, addictions, and loneliness. Bela Lugosi didn't just play Dracula, he became him. His obsession with the role led him to sleep in coffins, dress in black off camera, and surround himself with esoteric symbols. His presence was so unsettling that many believed something had truly taken hold of him. He died alone, addicted to morphine, penniless, with Dracula's cape as his only remaining possession. His funeral was grim, almost theatrical, like the final act of a lingering curse. Clara Bow was Hollywood's first true sex symbol, but her fame didn't just come from her on-screen presence. Rumors about her private life were even more scandalous. They said she attended secret parties with powerful producers where anything went: alcohol, drugs, and strange symbols adorning private rooms. The press stayed silent, but in the studio hallways, whispers spoke of initiation rituals and that Bow had offered more than talent to stay in the spotlight. When her fame faded, it vanished quickly and quietly. To many, the pact that kept her shining had simply burned out. Montgomery Clift had beauty, talent, and a gaze that spoke louder than 1,000 scripts. But after a car accident shattered his face, something inside him changed forever. He began visiting mediums, consulting tarot readers, and speaking with spiritual advisors in search of answers. His reconstructed face couldn't hide the emptiness he felt within. Hollywood kept casting him, but behind the scenes, he was falling apart. Addiction, isolation, and an obsession with rituals marked his final years. Some claimed that whatever he had done for fame was being slowly collected, draining him until nothing was left but a shell. Theda Bara wasn't her real name. It was created just like everything about her persona. A demonic, exotic woman from the desert, radiating a dark energy that couldn't be ignored. But the unsettling part was that, off-set, she kept acting the same as if she couldn't escape the character anymore. She wore necklaces with strange symbols, spoke of reincarnations, and claimed to have visions. The line between actress and entity blurred so much that many believed she had opened something she couldn't close. Her career vanished overnight, as if the darkness that followed her had come to take her back. He was the first Superman the Invincible hero, but his end was anything but heroic. He died from a gunshot wound in his own home. Officially, it was suicide, but nothing added up. The stories kept changing, evidence was hidden, and witnesses disappeared. Some said Reeves had made a pact to become iconic, but when he tried to walk away from the character, the deal broke and the punishment came. Since then, his story has been shrouded in mystery, and his name joined the list of stars who, it seems, paid far too much just to touch the sky. Marlene Dietrich never seemed to age, or at least, that's how it looked. It was said that before every shoot, she performed secret ritual sprayers in ancient languages, black candles, and jewelry she never removed, all to maintain control, beauty, and that aura that could make anyone tremble. Her dressing room was a sanctuary. No one entered without permission. Some assistants swore they saw strange symbols hanging on the mirrors. Dietrich didn't just put on makeup, she armored herself. And though she denied it all, her obsession with power and youth fed a legend that still lives on and only gets darker. Ramon Navarro was one of the brightest idols of the silent film era, but his private life was full of secrets, silence, and fear. He believed in signs, spiritual protections, and unseen forces that either watched over him or watched him. His death was brutal, found murdered in his home, with religious objects scattered across the floor and strange messages written on mirrors. Rumors spoke of a broken pact, a debt left unpaid, and many claimed the crime wasn't random, but punishment for having played with forces he was never meant to touch. Her face, half hidden behind a curtain of hair, became iconic, but what seemed like a fashion choice was, according to her, a shield against gazes that hurt her. Over time, her career collapsed suddenly and without explanation. Those who knew her said she spoke to herself, dreamt of shadows, and felt something or someone had been following her for years. From icon to waitress in a rundown bar, her downfall was so strange that many believe it was the price of a broken pact, one that promised eternal fame and delivered total oblivion. Peter Lorre had a face that unsettled people, and it wasn't just acting. Some claimed that off-set, he practiced isolation rituals, read strange texts, and had an obsessive fascination with death. His stare was unlike anyone else in Hollywood, and his roles felt like extensions of something deeper within. He never spoke about his private life, but those who worked with him described him as possessed by his own characters. Many admired him, but no one wanted to be alone with him for too long. Joan Crawford didn't just want to be a star, she wanted to be eternal. She was a perfectionist to the extreme, controlling, obsessed with her image, and with the things no one could see. It was said she consulted mediums and astrologers before signing major contracts, and never shot a scene without certain private rituals she shared with no one. Everything about her radiated strength but also paranoia. Some staff claimed she believed in invisible enemies and hid protective talismans inside her jewelry. Her success seemed unstoppable until one day, Hollywood had enough. Robert Walker went from being a charming young actor to playing disturbingly dark characters. In Strangers on a Train, his performance was so unnerving, people said he wasn't acting at all. His personal transformation was radical and far too fast. Shortly after the film wrapped, he died suddenly under unclear circumstances. The official story mentioned sedatives, but rumors suggested a mental break caused by something that had entered him. To this day, many believe Walker channeled more than talent in his final role, Sand, that whatever it was, it eventually took him. They called her the woman who was too beautiful to live, and tragically, the phrase turned out to be prophetic. Her beauty was hypnotic, almost unreal, and her rise to fame was meteoric. But along with the spotlight came addictions, insomnia, and a series of strange illnesses no doctor could fully explain. She died at just 29, her body shut down, and the press called it death by excessive glamour. Some biographers claim Barbara believed she had made a deal toe shine brighter than anyone else, but only for a short time. When Gig Young won the Oscar for They Shoot Horses, Don't They?, it seemed like everything had finally fallen into place. But behind the success, His personal life was a spiral of chaos, alcohol, and voices that, according to him, wouldn't let him sleep. He tried to rebuild himself again and again, but something always pulled him back into the darkness. Years later, he committed a crime that horrified Hollywood. He murdered his wife, then took his own life. The notes he left behind were confused, fragmented, as if written by someone possessed. Some said the Oscar was simply the price of admission to a hell that had been waiting for him all along. Lupe was pure fire, a star who had it all: talent, charisma, beauty. But from the start, she was surrounded by rumors. It was said she consulted Mexican witches, requested spells to keep impossible lovers, and used rituals to carve a path in an industry that rejected her roots. Her end was a blend of tragedy and legend. She was found in the bathroom, surrounded by flowers, with an expression many described as too peaceful. The official story claimed it was an overdose. Others whispered of a ritual gone wrong. And some still insist Lupe wasn't alone that night, even though no one saw anyone else go in. John Barrymore wasn't just a legendary actor, he was a presence larger than life itself. But his obsession with legacy, eternity, and the stage led him to some bizarre extremes. Those close to him claimed he spoke with the voices of the stage when alone in empty dressing rooms, and that he scribbled strange names in the margins of his scripts. After his death, the stories began that his body was exhumed for macabre pranks, that his spirit still haunts the theaters where he once performed, and that he made a pact with the eternal muses to never be forgotten. Whether true or not, one thing is certain: he succeeded. No one has ever managed to remove him from the pantheon of immortals, or entirely from the world of the living. In Hollywood, many shone brighter than anyone, but also fell in ways few could ever explain. Between pacts, hidden symbols, strange deaths, and fame that seemed to appear out of nowhere, their stories still raise unsettling questions. Was it just talent? Or did some of them give something more in exchange for eternal applause? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next episode of Sandalwood, where the glamour fades and the darkness begins.